Donald Trump, in a show of support to Elon Musk, says that he is going to purchase a Tesla. Elon Musk confirms on X that Tesla stock could get worse from here. Dan Ives says that Elon Musk really needs to show that he is still the CEO of Tesla, reiterating again today his over $500 12-month price target for Tesla. Tesla stock at the time of recording this video is up over 3% today, and there are some encouraging signs out there that we could be getting close to a market bottom. The S&P is now down 9.5% from all-time highs, following a decline today of about 1%. Tesla is a big outperformer today. Today, you are seeing more of a risk-on move than what you have seen recently. Meta's green, Amazon's green, Nvidia's green, Microsoft's somewhat in the green, Tesla's in the green, AppLovin, Carvana, these stocks are in the green today, whereas you have the XLP, which is the consumer staples ETF that has been doing very well in recent weeks as the markets have been selling off. There's been this rotation. This ETF is actually down almost 1.5% today. So risk on is starting to perform a little bit better, and your defensive trades are selling off a little bit today. That could be the early signs of a short-term bottom for markets, but we do have CPI coming tomorrow, and that's, I really think, going to be the catalyst that either gives you the bottom or sends markets even lower. Now, even though we do have this more risk-on attitude today, I would say, compared to other days, the volatility index is up today. It's up about 1.5% to 28.24. So even though it's a little bit more risk on, people are not going full-blown risk on. They're still going out and buying puts on our markets. And if you guys don't know, the VIX basically measures put and call activity on the S&P. So if the VIX is moving up, that means there's more puts getting placed on the markets than calls. And it fluctuates on any given day. Now, that's why I've kind of pointed out we have not gotten that volatility spike yet in the VIX. We haven't gotten that day where the VIX like doubles, right? Or goes up 50%, showing actual fear. Normally, when you're ending a correction, you get a capitulation moment. Basically, what that means in simple terms is everyone goes out and buys puts, right? That's what the volatility spike in the VIX at the bottom of corrections means. You haven't seen that, everyone goes out and buys puts moment. That just has not happened yet, which makes me a little bit hesitant to say the correction is over, but it could be coming close to being over. Now, ultimately, I think a bounce will be sold, and I don't think these are the lows of the year. In fact, it's looking like we could be going into a recession in the coming months. The Trump administration really wants to push us into a recession. I think that is becoming obvious to kill inflation and to send interest rates lower. I mean, if you don't see that by now, there's nothing I can say in these videos that will help you. It's unequivocally clear that the Trump admin wants a recession. I don't want to fight that. Am I going to take advantage of that? Sure. Am I going to position my portfolio to win either way? Yes. But they're making it clear. There will be a quote-unquote detox, aka recession, for the economy. Now, Elon Musk commented on this post from Robert Scoble with a heart. This post, it's kind of long. We're going to read it because it does suggest that Elon is saying that Tesla stock's gonna fall further. Robert Scoble's post here says Tesla is in a free fall. Its products are getting attacked. If customers are getting mocked, its customers are getting mocked, flipped off, and worse. To the point where I've seen several bumper stickers in Silicon Valley on Teslas like this one. I, too, am continuing taking heat from family and friends for being pro-Elon. I'm expecting it to get worse for investors and Tesla fans. A falling knife. Sell, sell, sell. And the news could and probably will get worse, as I believe Value Analyst 1 is right that Elon Musk's various statements and politics is depressing sales, although I don't like short sellers who bet against a company I love, which is why I haven't been joining his show much lately. I've been through many crashes, which prepared me for days like this. In 1999, Amazon was $112. In 2001, it went down to $6. Similar could happen here. Tesla's PE is very high right now, even after coming down over the past few weeks. Tesla has major new products that will lead the market coming. Robotaxi and Optimus, along with lower-cost vehicles, are in the offing. In China, Tesla is winning sales. Do a search here for China FSD and you'll see it. Its new products, especially the just-released Model Y, are dramatically better than any other. Then there is the key man risk. What if Elon stepped down from Tesla as CEO? What if worse happened? The political climate is being heated up. Last night, a Tesla dealership in Seattle was attacked and several vehicles were burned. I'm staying in for another decade. I see what it is doing here in Silicon Valley and who it has hired and believe in the mission. The future is electric and autonomous. That won't change even if Tesla goes away. China is working hard on both and has many advantages we don't in America. His friend in Europe just bought a Chinese car and loves it. I feel sorry for people who buy shittier products because they hate Elon. I've tested most and they all suck in comparison. Days like today get many to jump out. The fire is too hot. And he's referring to yesterday when the stock was down almost 16%, one of the worst single day drops in Tesla's history. The post goes on to say, but I see that Tesla is professionally run now and it has so many advantages that even if Elon were to step down from Tesla, it has a long future and a ton of cash. So the next 2 quarters could be bloody. Says that he'll still join Hallmark's catalogs, spaces. It is still the most important AI company on the playing field. FSD, which leads to robotaxi, will bring us into a dramatically different transportation landscape than exists today. I've studied innovation from my perch here in Silicon Valley for decades, and FSD is, by far, the most impressive piece of software I've ever used or seen. And get rid of Elon? ? You do realize he's the reason that Tesla products are the best right now. He chose cameras over LiDARs and chose to put an expensive computer in every car, making them robots. Most other car companies made other choices, which doomed them. But even if he were to leave Tesla the next decade all mapped out, no one else can compete, not in America. This is not investing advice. If you want that, go see someone else. But if you are long, I'm with you, and I'll stay long even if it goes down to $6. A great future awaits. And if you want me to jump on Elon like many are doing, well, I won't join you. I watched what he did from the very beginning of Tesla. I had the first ride. Elon gave me a ride before he gave his best friends a ride. And I had a front row seat on automotive innovation and tear down Titan from his perch in Detroit. And we both know just what Elon did to change not just transportation, but several other industries as well. You could hold a gun to my head asking me to change my stance on Elon and I wouldn't do it. Now to both sides. This shit is going to get people killed. I hope Democrats and Republicans will calm down on both sides. Elon Musk, that goes for you too. When I see Elon share this, it sounds like he's kind of telling you things are going to get worse from here. Like this is not over with. And I can imagine if we go into a recession, there's going to be even more people that are angry at Elon. And you need to also prepare for that. And that's why I've been saying now for the last 2 weeks, roughly, get out of margin. Get cash ready. Do side jobs. I don't care if you're going out with your lawnmower with your kid and you know, mowing lawns. Do what you got to do to make a couple hundred extra bucks here and there. You're going to be in a better position if markets do continue to fall. Whether that's you're buying Tesla, you're buying the indexes, does not matter. Donald Trump last night said to Republicans, conservatives, and all great Americans, Elon Musk is, quote, putting it on the line in order to help our nation, and he is doing a fantastic job. But the radical left lunatics, as they often do, are trying to illegally and collusively boycott Tesla, one of the world's great automakers, and Elon's quote-unquote baby, in order to attack and to do harm to Elon and everything he stands for. They tried to do it to me at the 2024 presidential ballot box, but how did that work out? In any event, I'm going to buy a brand new Tesla tomorrow morning as a show of confidence and support for Elon Musk, a truly great American. Why should he be punished for putting his tremendous skills to work in order to help America or make America great again. Now, I shared this on X and said, imagine Trump pushing conservatives, typically not EV drivers, to purchase a Tesla. I've only discussed that 20 times on the channel since the election. Not a guarantee, but not too far-fetched. Essentially, I've made the argument that in terms of Tesla sales, recession or what happens to Tesla stock, can be due to external factors. Like Tesla has been doing very well from a business standpoint. Things are going right for Tesla right now, and the stock has been selling off, right? This is the fastest sell-off in Tesla's history. And you don't really have the quote-unquote fundamentals to line up to that sell-off, okay? So anything can happen from that perspective. But from a delivery perspective, conservatives are really not the individuals that have been Tesla's buyer base, okay? Potentially, Trump could help push more conservatives and Elon's overall involvement in the government to purchase a Tesla. And from that perspective, that could actually be good short term and longer term for Tesla. You're opening up a new demographic, maybe 50% of the country, that typically was not going to be in the market to buy a Tesla otherwise. Also in the news today, 13,800 new Teslas were insured in China last week. The last week was the second week that included Model Y deliveries. So you've seen these numbers double since Tesla started producing the new Model Y, and they're only down 7,000 units in China year to date. So sure, that's still down. I can see that argument. But all things considered, Tesla's switching production from the old Model Y to the new Model Y, and you're only down 7,000 units year to date. That is actually impressive. And I think the numbers are going to really start exploding here in the coming weeks and months. And this could actually be another reason why Tesla stock is up today, because people might be saying, oh, well, we might have panicked a little bit about Tesla deliveries because they're starting to recover in China. Ron Barron said today on CNBC about Tesla, quote, "I'm the last in. I'll be the last out. I won't sell a single share personally until I sell all the shares for clients. I have not sold a single share personally." Ron Barron also said this about Elon Musk's time at his companies. Quote, "He is showing up. I was talking with someone who is a financial executive at SpaceX last week. She was telling me that when there's an issue with something like Starship, there might be 3 meetings a week. He's in every one of those meetings. He's there for Falcon 9 meetings. He's there for Starlink meetings. But he's there all the time. He's more charged up about his business now than he's ever been." He also said this about Tesla's Europe sales being down. He says, quote, "When you're talking about Europe sales being down 40 to 50%, that's because they don't have any cars. They're not making them because they're going from the Model Y, which is the best-selling car on the planet, to not making them. So how are you going to have up sales when the car that's driving your business isn't being made? They're starting to make them now with a refreshed model. This is a great, incredible car." And that's the argument, again, that I've made. You're going to start to see the news flow for Tesla around deliveries dramatically improve because they are now actually making the new Model Ys and starting to deliver them. Again, most of us understand that. Some people on Wall Street don't. The algorithms don't understand that. They see a negative 40 or 50% number coming out of countries, and they say, how does this affect Tesla if we continue to be running at a 40, 50% negative clip year over year? That would be terrible if that were to continue. A couple more months. That would be really bad. But the reason for it is simple. Middle school education could help you solve this question. Now, I actually think, though, unfortunately, Tesla's decline from all-time highs doesn't have much to do with the delivery story at this point. Okay, Tesla's stock at the time of recording this video is down almost 54% from all-time highs. At the low of the day today, you were down over 55.5%. I actually think it's just recession that is getting priced into markets that is causing Tesla to fall so much. Sure, some of this has to do with the algorithms and the scary headlines around Tesla and Elon quote unquote not working at Tesla anymore. That's kind of the consensus out there, it feels like, on Wall Street. But most of this sell-off, I would say probably like from $340, $330 to now, like the last $100 of the drop in Tesla has really just been people saying, if we go into recession, Tesla's not going to do well. And that's why they have been selling the stock. It's really recession fears at this point that is, I believe, driving the share price in Tesla. So that's why on a day like today, anything can change. Markets are coming down as we speak. S&P is now down about 1.25% on the day. Tesla's only up about 2% now on the day. But it is an encouraging sign, at least for the broader markets, I would say, that risk on stocks like Tesla are doing relatively good. Now, it's obviously hit or miss, but Tesla is really a big recession trade right now. And it is improving a little bit from yesterday. And I mean, this is one of the fastest corrections we've ever witnessed before. It's been virtually straight down for the S&P. This pretty much never happens, okay? I would expect that we get a bounce here pretty soon. But unfortunately, it will probably just be sold until there's clarity on tariffs, clarity on the economy, and the markets, figure out, are we going into a recession or are we not? Now, also in the news today, Tesla supercharger adapters are now on sale for about $200. Dan Ives writes on X in a new note out on Tesla where he actually reiterates his $550 price target on Tesla stock over the next 12 months. But he does also say a pivotal moment for Musk and Tesla, autonomous FSD new chapter, EV models all coming on the horizon to drive demand. But this Musk/Doge political firestorm needs to be contained for the Tesla brand. Investors need to see Musk lead Tesla at this key moment. The time has come. Tesla's option activity today from hedge funds and institutions coming in at 30% positive. You have 410 different trades totaling $657 million. So not a great day, but not, I guess, the worst of days nonetheless. You do have 1.92 million shares today that are being covered by hedge funds and institutions. So hedge funds, institutions, money managers, they're going out and covering their Tesla short positions in mass today. I mean, almost 2 million shares. The stock is outperforming a lot today, so that makes sense. And the stock is down a lot. Like, there has not been a better time to cover on your short position than now in a long time. So if you were short as Tesla was in the 400s, yeah, you're probably up now on your short position, and the time has come to cover. You've priced in a lot of bad news as well. I can confidently say that Tesla is not priced for perfection anymore. Now, as far as economic data today, we did get the JOLTS job openings numbers. They came in at 7.74 million. We were expecting around 7.63 million. So this number did come in higher than expected. Generally a sign the labor market is holding up, but it is kind of working with a lag because these numbers are for January. We're now in March. So it's really the February numbers that are going to reflect more of the uncertainty from tariffs, the decline in overall business activity. So I don't think this tells us too much, but it did relax potentially some of the fears of a recession today. Again, with more of your risk on areas doing a little bit better versus consumer staples, as I showed, that are really lagging behind. Now, the NFIB Business Optimism Survey came in 2.1 points lower than where you were a month ago, coming in at 100.7 in February, marking the lowest level since October of 2024, just before the election, and coming in below market expectations of 101. So you came in a little bit weaker than expected. It says, additionally, the uncertainty index surged by 4 points to 104, reaching its second highest level on record. So the uncertainty that business leaders are faced with is almost the highest level on record. Small business owners' expectations for improved business conditions over the next 6 months declined. So business owners expecting the economy to essentially get worse, and the percentage viewing the current period as a good time to expand also decreased, though it remains well above fall 2024 levels. Inflation continues to be a major concern, ranking second behind the top issue, labor quality. Now, also in the news today, Canada's Prime Minister, designate Carney, Trump's escalation is an attack on the country's workers. And he does say that Canada will keep tariffs until the U.S. commits to free and fair trade. And he says that Canada would maintain the tariffs on the U.S. until Americans, quote, show us respect. There was also news today that Canada is threatening to turn off or stop the power supply to New York, Michigan, and Minnesota, which would be a really bad problem. I mean, I feel bad for what the U.S. would do to Canada if that happens. So let's hope level heads prevail here. And credit default swaps on the U.S. 1 year, essentially, bonds rises to 45 basis points, the highest since November 5th. According to S&P's global data. This means a credit default swap really became popular with 08, 09. That's how Michael Burry used to, short the mortgage market. Essentially, it's saying there's a 0.45% chance that the U.S. defaults in the next year. That's still a very low, risk. And it really comes down to the funding deal for March 15th and the debt ceiling limit that still looks like it has not been raised. And Ontario's Doug Ford warns of a Trump recession and threatens, again, that electrical shutoff. Trump said earlier this morning that we will substantially increase tariffs on cars coming into the U.S. on April 2nd if other tariffs are not dropped by Canada. And Trump will shortly be declaring a national emergency on electricity. And Trump says, based on Ontario, Canada's placing of a 25% tariff on electricity coming into the United States, I have instructed my Secretary of Commerce to add an additional 25% tariff to 50% on all steel and aluminum coming into the United States from Canada. Now, steel is not a huge issue, but most of the aluminum we get comes from Quebec. So that is a bigger issue. And Trump says that we are subsidizing Canada to the tune of more than $200 billion a year. Why? This cannot continue. The only thing that makes sense is for Canada to become our cherished 51st state. This would make all tariffs and everything else totally disappear. So the trade war doesn't look like it's ending anytime soon unless Canada becomes the 51st state, which they say will never happen. And Citi strategist today, or essentially analyst, downgraded U.S. equities to neutral from overweight, which it had been since October 2023, while upgrading China to overweight from neutral. They say that U.S. exceptionalism is at least on pause. The strategists tell investors in a research note the firm believes the news flow from the U.S. economy is likely to undershoot the rest of the world in the coming months. At least tactically, U.S. exceptionalism is therefore unlikely to roar back. Citi predicts it thinks China stocks screen well even after the recent rally. And White House Press Secretary Leavitt says we are in a period of economic transition, which essentially means we're going into a recession. And she says that stock market numbers are a snapshot of a moment in time. Now, the Iranian president said this to Trump, quote, I won't even negotiate with you under threats. Do whatever the hell you want. And it is official. The S&P 500 falls 10% from the record high, now set to enter a correction. And according to the CNN Fear and Greed Index, we are now at 14 with all of your components in extreme fear, besides junk bond demand that is in greed. And the percent of stocks trading above their 50-day moving average down to 23.2%. About 2% of stocks today are falling below their 50-day moving average. So it just continues to be a rough market. Here on the day today, the Dow is down 1.7%, down over 700 points today. S&P is down 1.46%. NASDAQ down 1.15%. Russell down 0.5%. The VIX is up 3.63% today to about 29. But again, you're still really not in that panic moment. You still have not seen that mass capitulation where everyone is rushing into puts. That just has not happened yet. Oil is up 0.5% today. 10-year treasury yields are up 1.5 basis points, and gold is up around 1%. So let me know what you guys think about all of this information down below in the comment section. We will talk about my price targets on stocks like Tesla, on the broader markets, what could be coming next, the CPI report that comes out tomorrow in the next video. So stay tuned to the channel for that one. Ladies and gentlemen, have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.